Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Racecourse grounds here in Colombo. On a beautiful evening here on a sunny day in Colombo, Sri Lanka take on Turkmenistan live and direct from the Racecourse International Stadium in Colombo through this papare.com coverage. It's going to be an interesting encounter with the home side heavily relying on a good performance today to keep their hopes alive of qualifying for the Saudi Arabia 2027 AFC Asia Cup. It's sunny climes here, 32 degrees, with mild winds as well blowing from the western side of the country. The humidity also set to play a part as the teams conclude their warm-ups as we approach kickoff as well. And joining me in the commentary box is Sudarshana Piris to go on this voyage as we have a look at the head-to-head card. Sudarshana?
Yeah, Sri Lanka yet to get a win under their belt. Turkmenistan in with 5 wins, 1 game drawn between the two teams. The host nation will be looking to try and capitalize on the opportunity to be playing at home conditions and get that big win that they've been chasing for 6 games between these two teams. 6 played, 1 drawn, and all 5 victories to the visitors. This is how the last 5 results have panned out. Sri Lanka's only triumph coming in 2004, Deshan. So that's something that Sri Lanka will be looking to change. On the other hand, Turkmenistan, they've been very, very strong contenders between the two nations. But the last game that was played, which was in 2019, but since then, Sri Lanka has come leaps and bounds and will want to make sure that they showcase that they are a much better football team than the last encounter between the two sides.
Absolutely, and just having a look at the previous 5 meetings, the first of the 5 meetings that we have on record is from 2003, that's more than 20 years ago. A 3-0 win for Turkmenistan, followed by a 2-0 win for Turkmenistan the following year in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, and that was immediately succeeded by a second leg draw rather, where Sri Lanka managed to rescue a point, but that was not enough on aggregate. However, once again, when Sri Lanka met Turkmenistan in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers for Asia in 2019, prior to the World Cup in 2022, we had Sri Lanka lose both legs by a margin of 2 goals, Sudarshana. But things are very different in the Sri Lanka camp since then, as we have seen more or less a revolution in the Sri Lanka squad lineups. Here's a look, a bit of behind the scenes action for you here at home as we have a look at the Turkmenistan dressing room. The kits all laid out and waiting for the players to don them.
Yeah, going to be a very interesting one for Turkmenistan coming here. They will want to put a very strong performance, and everybody, all these teams have an eye out on that Asian Cup which will be played in Saudi Arabia in 2027. The qualifiers are going to be absolutely important as they build up to the tournament, and any win from here will really strengthen their chances.
Absolutely, and for Turkmenistan, they'll be wanting to continue the streak that they've had against the Sri Lankans, stretching out over 20 years as of now. And they're going to this game, I think, with a great deal of confidence, having never lost to the island nation, as we see the home side's dressing room clad in that white strip for this game today, Sudarshana, and that's definitely going to help given the heat and the humidity here in Colombo. It's a kit that Sri Lanka has tended to have a bit of luck in as well. And they've managed to get some interesting wins. Zahir Dees, the number 3 shirt there on your screens, making his debut when Sri Lanka played Maldives a couple of weeks ago. 2 games that the team would want to get out of their memory very fast. And that number 1 shirt, Sujan Pereira, the veteran Sri Lanka skipper, he's got a big role to play today to ensure that his Chargers are able to pull through with a result that puts them in a position where there's still something to salvage from these Asia Cup qualifiers for the Lankan Lions. And like I said, this is a very different dressing room, Sudarshana, to the one Turkmenistan encountered before on the Sri Lanka side. The influx of origin players, a number of Sri Lankan European players, a number of Sri Lankan Australian players now playing their part in the Sri Lanka international setup, really changing the dynamic with which the team operates. And that is something that Turkmenistan will have to take into account, because now they're taking on a team that has a lot of European experience, has a lot of international experience, and playing at that level as well, as we have a look at the arrival of the visitors.
Yes, absolutely, Deshaun. I think as we take a look at the arrival of the visiting team to these Racecourse grounds, a brilliant facility right in the heart of Colombo. It's rare that you get a stadium of this stature in the heart of a city all over the world. Deshaun, most times than not, you need to travel a bit to the stadiums, and it has been planned and built that way. Sri Lanka are very lucky to have this facility right in the heart of the stadium, and actually a lot of brilliant grounds around the area as well, which has preserved that garden-like look to busy Colombo. And coming back to what you mentioned about the Sri Lankan side, yes, the experience that these players bring with their international exposure, but more so how long they've been able to be with each other as a unit despite fulfilling their responsibilities overseas. They have been able to stick together as a unit, have periodic training, and also with the coaching staff who have been consistent feature in the side. They've turned out to be a strong unit that needs to be taken note of.
Absolutely, and for all of you watching at home, it's still not too late if you want to make your way down to the Racecourse grounds to support the Sri Lankan team in particular. We've still got some tickets available, and we'd appreciate all of you come down here and get involved with the AFC Asia Cup qualifiers. It's not every day you have international football at your doorstep. It's not every day you have international standard athletes plying their trade here, and it's another opportunity, particularly for the Sri Lankan fans here at home, here in Colombo, here in the suburbs, to still make their way into the heart of the city and to catch the action live here at the Racecourse Stadium as we have a look at the arrival of the players. It's a big game, and you can see that the occasion is certainly very well registered in the hearts of the players. Wasim Razik, that man who preceded the coach Al Mutairi, is going to have to carry a lot of weight, and a lot of expectation is going to be on his shoulders. Those kids in particular, and the kids here in the commentary box, know how dangerous Wasim can be on his day. He didn't really have the best outing against the Maldives, but if there's one thing about Wasim Razik, when the big occasion calls, he tends to answer.
As the team will hope that all their players really put their hands up, the very important players. We'll have plenty more to talk about, but what we'll do now is we'll go for a quick commercial break, and on the return we'll have so much more coming up.
Welcome back to the Racecourse grounds here in Colombo, as we can see the match officials putting in the final checks ahead of this AFC Asian Cup qualifier for Saudi Arabia 2027 between Sri Lanka and Turkmenistan. The teams back in the dugout, getting a final bit of instruction as we have a look at Sri Lanka's fixtures and results here at the AFC Asian Cup qualifiers third round. Thailand, Sri Lanka lost that game earlier in March this year, but managed to romp to a comprehensive victory in June against Chinese Taipei, to the surprise of many, in what was a dominant performance here at the Racecourse grounds as well. And today they take on Turkmenistan in a double header. They fly over to Turkmenistan for the second encounter on the 14th of October. And then next month on the 18th of November, Sri Lanka will take on Thailand here in Colombo, followed by a game against the Chinese Taipei in Taipei on the 31st of March 2026 in that final game. So given the context and given the performance, Sri Lanka will need to win most of these games if they are to give a chance to themselves of proceeding into the next round.
Absolutely, having had a very good outing against Chinese Taipei in that game, but as we'll take a look at Turkmenistan, they did defeat Taipei 2-1, and then a comprehensive win against the Thai team 3-1. That was on the 10th of June. So since June, this team hasn't had any action when it comes to the Asian Cup qualifiers, similar to Sri Lanka as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams hit the ground running. Next game, they will host Sri Lanka on the 14th of October, followed by Chinese Taipei, who travel there almost after a month on the 18th of November, and their final game will be in Thailand on the 31st of March 2026. The all-important points table of Group D. Table leaders Turkmenistan, after having played 2, they have 6 points in the bag, but take a look at that goal difference. That's going to be the one that's going to really help them top this group, Deshan, if we are not yet to see any big upsets from this group.
Absolutely, and what is absolutely paramount is to know the structure of this tournament, and as per this structure, the winner of the group is the only team that will qualify directly for the final tournament in Saudi Arabia in 2027, with the 24 teams divided into 6 groups of 4. So in the interest of Sri Lanka, they will see that defeating Turkmenistan at home will provide them with the platform to really try and then go on to win this group and get that direct qualification. If they are unable to do that today, that poses a bit more of a challenge for the home side in terms of qualifying for the AFC Asia Cup in Saudi Arabia in 2027. So it's a big game for the Lions, and Chinese Taipei, unfortunately for them, lagging behind on 0 points. They've not been able to put any points on the board so far. If we are to go, Sudarshan, by some of the words of the Sri Lanka coach at yesterday's press conference, we're looking at an all-out attack gameplay for Sri Lanka. So looks like the home side has recognized the importance of really taking the game to the visitors.
Yeah, there's not going to be holding back against Turkmenistan. You have seen against Thailand as well, when they have the opportunities, they pounce. They absolutely pounce at you. Then they are not going to park the bus on you, if you may. So it's going to be important that Sri Lanka sets the tone. We were very lucky a couple of months back here at Racecourse to witness a really good Sri Lankan performance. Deshan scoring those 3 goals. Maybe at the latter part of the second half, Sri Lanka would have jaded away, but then they were absolutely enjoying themselves. And we did have a couple of more spectators as well. So coming back to what Deshan's big invite for you to come down here if you're at office. I'm sure you can negotiate half an hour early exit, because you really need to be here and watching this on your mobiles, on your tabs, on your laptops. Make your way to the racecourse, because Sri Lanka team will definitely appreciate it, and some of the visitors, fans as well, coming down here to support their outfit. Interesting, isn't it, Deshan, how these two sides will approach this game, and how they will want to make sure, like you mentioned, the Sri Lankan coach putting down his game plan and saying we are going all guns blazing on attack. How will Turkmenistan approach this game? Because what they will want to do is to make sure that they are composed in the early exchanges and not to run themselves out of this game.
Absolutely, and just off your screens and in the distance, the match commissioners have made their way to the dressing rooms and asked the teams to make their way outside as we try to start proceedings. But as the teams line up and Sri Lanka walking out first, what is interesting is that the national team for Sri Lanka have decided to leave two of their faster wingers, Dylan De Silva and Sam Durant, on the bench for this game. Both very direct players who love to run at a defender, so they've decided to leave those two players on the bench and hand over the responsibility of that attack, in particular to the likes of Ardhavan Rajmohan, to Wasib Razik, and Zahi Hariadis also starting his first game for the Lions today. And in particular, a very interesting addition is Jeremy Pereira, who is going to be donning that number 4 shirt and playing in the middle of the park as a midfielder. So there is a bit of a tactical change and some adjustments that have been done by the home side as well in respect of the opposition. So it's going to be a very interesting look into how they structure this attack. Traditionally, the Sri Lanka team, especially under Coach Al Mutairi, have preferred to hold on to the ball and then unleash that long ball down the flank, which allows these wingers to latch on to it and really take on the fullbacks and put the ball into the box. They've really lacked that number 9, unfortunately, but today it looks like they're looking at a different way of playing. We'll have to see what that entails, particularly whether they are looking at playing more of an inverse style from the wings, where they make the pitch a bit narrower and deviate from the traditional way they play. So it's going to be an interesting one, and it's going to be also interesting equally to see how the team adapts to these changes, because it is very different to how they've done things so far under the coach.
Coach Al Mutari, known to be a person who loves to change his tactics depending on the opponents, have put doubt in the mind and inquisitivity in the mind of a lot of fans as well, with his changes, with this lineup coming up. What are we going to bring to the plate? Fans looking in anticipation. And here's the flags coming out. Sri Lanka versus Turkmenistan in the Asian Cup, Saudi Arabia 2027 qualifier, third round here.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the teams of Sri Lanka and Turkmenistan. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you're able for the national anthem of Turkmenistan. Please remain standing if you're able for the national anthem of Sri Lanka.
And with the national anthems concluded, the teams exchanging pleasantries with their opponents as well as the referees for today's game. The refereeing team coming from Hong Kong, China, headed by referee Tam Ping Wung, with assistant referee So Kai Man, Fok Pong Shing, and fourth official Liu Kuk Man. Match commissioner Vo Hui Thay is from Vietnam. For today's game, as we have a look at the lineups for Sri Lanka, Wade Decker and Wasim Razik leading the line. A midfield revamp with Jeremy Pereira, Kelly, Leon Pereira and Rajamohan occupying those spots. Rajendram Dabaram, Claudio Kamenek and Zahi Adis manning the defense, with Sujan Pereira, the skipper, holding fort in goal.
The entirely Hong Kong China referees as the two skippers exchange their mementos. Man with the whistle, referee Ping Won tossing the coin, and they will pose for the official photograph.
And here is how Turkmenistan will line up for this game. Gurbanov is going to be leading the line for the visitors, with Haidarov, Chariev, Beknazarov and Titov occupying those midfield spots. Turkmenistan going to be playing 5 at the back, with Bashimov Abdi, the skipper, occupying that central position, and Rasul between the sticks for the visitors as well. So head coach Rovshan Meradov has taken into account that Sri Lanka does pose an attacking threat for this game. Sudarshana, who do you have your eye out for from the visitors?
I believe the skipper's workload and how he manages the game is going to be absolutely critical on how Turkmenistan really puts their hand up Deshan, because he's going to play that central role in defense, but they will also want to make sure that they get good forward ball, because if you are going to be bogged down in your own half, the opposition can really put pressure on new territory in this game is going to be crucial as well.
Absolutely. Beknarazov standing over the ball to take this kickoff for the visitors, and is accompanied by Mikhail Titov, who's also going to be playing that attacking position as we kick things off. The referee has one final look. Referee Vun. And that's kickoff. Turkmenistan down the right flank. Very early in the game, Zahir Dis manages to dispossess the opposition. Claudio Kamenek, who didn't play in those games against the Maldives. Looks long, but Turkmenistan once again in position. So it looks like Anaguliev is going to be playing that central position for the men in green, together with Toizhanov. Both teams getting a feeler for the game. Sri Lanka managed to nick position. Here's an opportunity. Not able to find Jeremy Pereira there, but once again, now the skipper for Turkmenistan, Abdi, ball fed, and Sujan Pereira taking it comfortably with the feet. As Claudio Kamenek here works his way out with the ball. That centre-back combination of Jason Dayabaran and Claudio Kamenek with those German roots has worked successfully for Sri Lanka in recent times, and was a combination that was missed in the games against the Maldives. Really sets up that spine for the home team. And it looks like in possession, Turkmenistan playing a 5 at the back almost, with 3 centre-backs. Out of possession rather, and in possession they're basically looking at Ilas Toizhanov, as well as, and here's an opportunity down the left flank. Ball comes in, but referee has adjudged that the ball has made its way out of bounds.
The good intention shown by Turkmenistan, like you mentioned, when they do not have possession, despite having 5 back, when they do have possession, they are only they move 2 of their outsides to the front, which gives them the opportunity of putting in that long ball, making it available for players to run into that. Sri Lanka, who are going in an attacking mindset, will need to be quick about changing from attack to defense.
Absolutely here, and once again losing possession, but Raj Mohan manages to win it over for Sri Lanka there. Wade Decker going to have a very important role to play in this game as well. The local lads are the smaller team here, as Claudio Kamenek swings the ball in. Here's an opportunity. The keeper gets rid of it, and the referee does blow for a foul. Shahriar Rasool manages to get the ball away, but once again that almost 5 at the back with the 3 centre-backs. That skipper Bashimov Abdi, as well as his chargers, particularly Ilas Toizhanov. It's going to be an interesting battle there, and already you can see Raj Mohan slotting into that central role, moving Wade Decker out to the right and Wasim Razik out to the left. Razik in particular a bit more comfortable in that role, given that he sees a bit more of the ball and doesn't have to play with his back to the goal and can run at the defender, as Chariev Rasool gets involved, moving the ball around. Toyjanov, Rasool, not a very well placed pass. Anaguljev there for support, but Rasool not taking any chances. Claudio Kamenek meeting that header well. And here it is, Jeremy Pereira, the debutant for Sri Lanka. What a game to start off his Sri Lanka career in rather. And here's a beautiful ball, but Sujan Pereira making sure that Mamadov Ibrahim is not able to get a hold of that one. Just a bit too much on it for Razik, and Anaguljev is happy to watch that go all the way to Rasool. So early on, Sudarshana looks like that combination of Anaguljev and Toyjanov really holding down the fort as the base two. And Sri Lanka, particularly given the size difference of the players, will have some work on their hands.
Absolutely, Deshan, I think, which is why they are struggling with the long balls as well. Sri Lanka looking to crowd the opposition half with white jerseys, trying to intercept the passers and put pressure. That's brilliantly won by Sri Lanka. Now on counter. Here's the debutant. To Decker. Raj Mohan. Dayabaran.
Claudio Kamenek with Garrett Kelly there. Kelly winning that ball over in midfield and turning over possession in a dangerous area as Rajendram filling in for that experienced man who's missing from this team, who's unfortunately injured and not able to compete. Jack Hingert as the ball fed through for Wasim Razik, but just a bit too much on it from Claudio Kamenek.
Razik using his experience, the wily old fox, a lot of experience on him, a little bit of a touch on the goalkeeper, telling him you're going to see a little more of me rest of the game, as he sees that ball off. Intentions are clear from both these teams. They are not going to hold back. Turkmenistan happy to hold the game, slow it down a little bit, because they don't want to be outrun in these humid conditions in Sri Lanka. They will want to try and settle down and pick their moments to attack as they give away position to Sri Lanka again. That's a clear foul there.
And Zahi Adi is just getting the ball nicked off of him as he was making his way through the middle of the park, but the referee giving a little talking to on that occasion. Taimur Shariev getting that dressing down from the referee, and it's good that he's not pulling out cards early doors, but keeping the game competitive and disciplined. Sujan Pereira now looking for an early ball in, and one now. Here is an opportunity. Jeremy Pereira with the shot. Blocked very well indeed there by Toyjanov. Toyjanov manages to release his teammate Gurbanov. Gurbanov down this left flank. And that pass from Arzuf Ghuli not really going anywhere on that occasion, but Anuj and Rajendram now with the opportunity to put the ball into the box. No, it's actually Turkmenistan's ball. And Arzuguli now with the second bite at the cherry. He gets to help retain possession. He's looking for some support. Beknarazov marked by Jeremy Pereira, but he gets some support. Jeremy Pereira trying to nick it off. Jeremy Pereira gets the ball and he loses the ball again. Beknarazov manages to switch possession immediately and finds Abdi. Leon Pereira not quite getting to it. Here is an opportunity now. And once again, cross coming in. Suzan Pereira making no mistake. Arzuf Ghuli has been good down this left flank, the left back, making his way all the way to the front. As Wasim Razik doesn't control the ball, but what an interception on that occasion by Basimov Abdi, the skipper. I beg your pardon, that was Toisanov with the interception, but had that not been the case, there would have been a run through directly for Wade Decker onto goal. But what you can see is that both the teams are not really working too much in the middle of the park. They're happy to work the ball up the field, long distances. Azaguli manages to keep the ball inside and he finds his teammate Gurbanov. Gurbanov works it all the way back to Anagulyev.
Sri Lankan defense couple of times found wanting when Turkmenistan looks to spread them out wide. Using the width of the field, Turkmenistan have done wonderfully well, which has really posed challenges to Sri Lankan defense because there have been a couple of players who've been in no man's land, giving opportunity for Turkmenistan to really exploit gaps behind the last line of defense.
Speculative effort there from just in front of the halfway line by Gaikmarat Anagulyev, but Turkmenistan do have the advantage of having a number of their players coming from the same team in the Yokari Liga. FK Arkadak, goalkeeper Rasul, skipper Abdi, just some of the players representing FK Arkadak here in the national team. Here's an opportunity, and Sri Lanka with an opportunity as the ball from Raj Mohan ricochets towards Wasim Razik, but not taking any chances was the Turkmenistan defense, and the ball is worked out for a throw-in. Here's another look at that one. Raj Mohan looking to square it, but ricochets. Well defended as the ball comes in from the throw-in. Second bite at the cherry maybe, but the clearance by Gurbanov not very comprehensive. Wade Decker with an opportunity. And the ball falls inside the box. Here's an opportunity for Sri Lanka to shoot. It comes off the upright. And early doors, the local lads have had an opportunity to make it 1-0, but denied by the upright on that occasion. Zahi Adis.
What an opportunity here. The debutant with the assist, but that shot was on spot, just centimeters different from being a goal. But Turkmenistan live out the scare.
Wasim Razik, you know he's a man for the big occasion. Does everything right. Misses by a couple of inches. And the warning shot has well and truly been fired to the visitors. We spoke, Sudarshan, before the start of this game about how the nature of the players, the nature of the team representing Sri Lanka has changed drastically from 2019. And I think Turkmenistan is finding that out, particularly in that final third, with the likes of Razik now leading the line, that they do need to be a bit more careful. As we see a free kick here, Turkmenistan holding up a high line. Sri Lanka has got everyone up for it. Claudio Kamenekt, Jason Dayabaran, both up there. Kamenekt here with an opportunity, and he very nearly manages to get a foot on it. You can see what they were trying to do there. Maybe a yard too much on that pass. And Rasul now with a goal kick. Shariev Rasul And he'd be thankful that he has a moment to take a breath after a period of sustained attack from the home side. And here Turkmenistan now with the opportunity to get the ball up. Garrett Kelly pushing up the midfield. Wasim Razik now pressing Toyzhanov finding Shariev, who finds Anagulyev down this right flank.
Turkmenistan trying to get play back onto the tempo that they prefer to play at. They are not going to be bogged into Sri Lanka's tempo where they are going to go frantic until they get that first score. Turkmenistan happy to slow things down when they have possession. Good clearance that time by Claudio, who has been fabulous. Resembles Akira Ioane of New Zealand rugby fame. Turkmenistan now, like we discussed earlier as well, Deshan, they like to make sure that they slow it down, try and frustrate the opposition. They've already realized that here's an opportunity for Turkmenistan, but very well marshalled by skipper Sujan. Mirza Hydrov, beg your pardon, that time.
Hidirov failing to get onto the ends of that one, and Garrett Kelly down in the middle of the park. Garrett Kelly has been all over the place, coming off his arm, but the referee says nothing doing, play on. Claudio Kamenek back to Garrett Kelly. Garrett Kelly is the beating heart of the Sri Lankan team. He's got quite the engine on him, as Rajendram here squares a pass for Raj Mohan, just a little bit too much on that one, but Shariev Rasool will not be complaining, the FK Arkadag goalkeeper. He's also got quite a few years left on him. He's only 25. Marshalling the posts for his national team, as Leon Pereira now with the opportunity. As we're closing on the 20-minute mark, so Darshana, it looks like it is very apparent what both the teams are trying to do. I think both the teams are trying to avoid that midfield battle and really stretch the game as much as possible, as the referee has called for a corner kick, much to the dismay of the visiting side. But like I said, both teams look like they're trying to, the best of their abilities at least, look at a long game where they're trying to feed the ball up from the defense and really stretch the game and get those wingers running across. We assume that given that Sri Lanka's traditional wingers aren't starting, that they might deviate from that a little bit, but no, every time Sujan Pereira has got the ball, he's booted it long. And here's an opportunity for Raj Mohan to swing this one in. Raj Mohan with the corner. Here's an opportunity. Keeper misses it. Garrett Kelly with an opportunity now to put the ball back into the box. Garrett Kelly with the hoik, but very well cleared by the Turkmenistan team. And now once again another bite at the cherry, maybe. No chances taken there, Arzaguli.
Another close one for the host team. The goalkeeper was beaten at that point, and but the angle where Sri Lanka's Claudio was placed at didn't allow him to do much with green jerseys crowd in the box. Opportunity for Sri Lanka. Would want to make sure that they take them with both hands. Here's another, the debutant, intercepting.
And Jeremy Perez's efforts there, getting intercepted as Ibrahim leaves the throw in for skipper Basimov Abdi. Zahir Adis with that little nudge manages to help turn over possession, and here is an opportunity now. Raj Mohan down this left flank. He's got men coming in for support, but what a clearance there by Basimov Abdi, sliding in, and the Turkmenistan skipper managing to now release his charges. Here's an opportunity for Turkmenistan to go down. Hidorov not quite coming to fruition. Zahir Adis doing very well to intercept.
That time not Hydrov not too happy about the call, but he did make contact with the player before he made contact with the ball. Sri Lanka creating opportunities but not being able to finish those. Turkmenistan have been happy to build it up slowly and then, like you mentioned, avoid that midfield battle. Go for the long ball, and their pass completion has been impressive, Turkmenistan. But what Sri Lanka have done is to constantly put pressure on them in order to try and turn over.
And that was a silly foul there by Rajendram, but a basic case of miscommunication between him and Dayabaran. Garrett Kelly takes it beautifully on his chest and squares it in the middle of the park, but Rajendram watching Dayabaran watching Rajendram, not quite able to decide who will get it, but that has resulted now in a cheap free kick being conceded. Here's another look at that one. Gurbanov having his foot taken off from under him, so it's a very clear foul, there's no question about it. And now as a result, Mirza Beknazarov standing over this free kick together with Shamamev Hidorov, and Shamet Hidorov in particular, the 23-year-old FK Arkadag man. Is he going to take it? Yes, he is. Ball ricochets off the wall and goes for a corner, so nothing coming off of that free kick directly, but a cheap turnover of possession for the home side. And
well, first corner for Turkmenistan, and they'll be happy about it. They get position back in an attacking space. This is going to be important for them. Wasim Razikdo making his way to halfway, and then deciding that he's going to come in off your screen.
And the cross there, Mirza Beknazarov with a glancing header, not quite being able to get it down, and that front post cross in particular from Arzuguli. Meeting his man, but nothing coming to fruition. Sujan Pereira once again with the long kick. And Claudio Kamenekt managing to turn over possession for Sri Lanka, but ball put out of play because Jeremy Pereira, the debutant, has got a bit of a a bit of an issue rather, as we see.
It's not look comfortable at all here. Lands on his ankle extended. Never a good feeling, isn't it, Deshaun? Because he went high up on air, but then with that contact,
absolutely, and that initial bit of contact as he comes down, it's never pleasant. Does create a sharp pain and never easy, and it's going to be interesting to see whether this is one he's going to be able to walk off. It's not how you'd want to see a debut go if that is not the case, so we'll wait and see. Jeremy Pereira just receiving treatment here on the sidelines. Leon Pereira trying to look for Wade Decker, nothing doing, and once again now opportunity. Chariev finds Abdi, the skipper. Abdi in that right side of defense has Raj Mohan for company, and Raj Mohan loses his man. Abdi once again pressing through. Abdi here is with an opportunity, and now a shot on goal potentially. And a good opportunity for Anagulyev, who made his way all the way to the front of the pitch. And essentially what was a free shot, Sri Lanka's defense looking at each other to figure out who holds that responsibility, but essentially walking through the front door there, the Turkmenistani lads. And Jeremy Pereira on the far side looks like he's good to come back onto the pitch, as Wade Decker finds Rajendran, brings it down well. Dayabaran, Claudio Kamenek. Claudio once again with the Hoik ball. Wasim Razik just a bit too much on it, and Rasul won't mind that. Neither team has so far really been able to stake their claim and make the game their own, Sudarshan, have they? And there's been a lot of changes in possession, with the ball switching hands quite a few times. And no team really dominating proceedings, and Sri Lanka definitely have had the better of the opportunities, striking that upright as well. Jason Dayabaran. That combination in particular, very important for Sri Lanka, as Claudio Kamenek looks at the far side, but Rajendram just not able to control the ball. But as I was saying earlier, a lot of Sri Lanka's success in recent years has been built on that combination down the middle. Claudio Kamenek, the 26-year-old Dynamo Dresden defender, plying his trade in Germany's second division, complemented by the 30-year-old Jason Dayabaran, formerly of Eintracht Trier. So those two players in particular creating that core of the Sri Lanka team that the local lads really missed during those fixtures in the Maldives, with the Maldives rather. And now an opportunity for a break. Here's an opportunity. Jeremy Pereira miscontrols it, but he manages to find a beautiful pass. Here's an opportunity for Rajmohan loses possession. Jeremy Pereira with a bit of a heavy touch, but he manages to redeem himself with a beautiful pass. And now Gurbanov looking back for support. He finds Beknazov floating the ball to the opposite side of the pitch, and here's an opportunity And ball squared beautifully, but once again, Jason Dayabaran taking no prisoners whatsoever. Mikhail Titov not able to make anything of it. But Jeremy Pereira, it's an unfortunate way to end your debut, but that initial hit looking like it has ended his game.
Our frustration for the young lad, but nevertheless, congratulations for making his debut with the national outfit. Definitely not the way he would have wanted it to go. Coach understands it, but you got to do what you got to do for the best of the team, as Dylan De Silva, who is absolutely no slouch when it comes to attack, comes into the field. Has been interesting, isn't it? Every time one team goes at the goal, next minute the other has managed to counter and create an opportunity on the opposite side, Deshan, but referees calling for a refreshment break due to the difficult conditions.
And as we take this water break in what is extremely humid conditions here in Colombo, about 30 degrees is the temperature as well, but it feels a lot hotter because of the humidity. So rightly so, referee Boone taking this break. But now for Sri Lanka, at least now with that forced substitution which saw Jeremy Pereira leave the pitch, Dylan De Silva has now made his way on. And Sudarshana, we were talking about how the midfield structure has changed prior to the game with De Silva and Sam Durant on the bench. But now Jeremy Pereira, who was playing in the middle of the park there, has had to be replaced by an out-and-out traditional winger. So that means that midfield has to now change again. And this water break comes very timely for Coach Al Mutairi to kind of get the instructions across. I'm sure they've worked it on the training pitch, but it's never convenient when you have to make tactical changes so early on in a game, especially forced tactical changes. And Dylan De Silva far more direct and not really a midfielder, but far more a winger, and it's going to change the dynamic a little bit by how we can see it, at least.
Yeah, De Silva moving up front. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic with Wasim on the right and De Silva on the left.
Absolutely. Wasim earlier playing that left role in the first 25 to 30 minutes. So De Silva will now play on that side so that he can come in on his stronger foot. Garrett Kelly and Leon Pereira playing that midfield base, and Raj Mohan as Wasim Razik get the 1-2 for De Silva. De Silva once again getting involved early on, manages to win a free kick in a pretty decent area. We've got some ball hitters, the local team. But like I said earlier, now that has created a change. Raj Mohan dropping back. Here's another look at that beautiful 1-2 play. Wasim Razik and Dylan De Silva. Dylan De Silva with a little of a bubble.
The free kick was awarded for the obstruction of Wasim Razik that time. Beautiful movement by him after that pass to De Silva. Opportunity for Raj Mohan.
Claudio Camanek can also hit these ones from this distance.
Claudio did score a beautiful shot of a similar distance in the same competition. Opportunity now for Sri Lanka.
Raj Mohan and Kamanek. One final shot. Referee Woon blows the whistle. Kamanek with the dummy. Kamenek now with the effort. Kamenek takes a shot. Doesn't really get over it. A bit of hesitation, potentially by design, but not really amounting to anything. And Sri Lanka would be disappointed not to at least test the keeper, Claudio. He tries to wrap his foot around it, really, instead of going for power.
Turkmenistan now will have to make some tinkerings due to Sri Lanka's forced change, because we've already seen glimpses of those two attacking wingers combining with each other. Deshan, that can be a real struggle that time. The skipper Abdi trying to get a little handsy with the Sri Lankan defender.
Hari Zahidi is doing well there to turn over possession and winning that foul as well. Sujan Pereira once again with the opportunity to put it well into the opposition half. And Dylan De Silva manages to nick possession. Here's an opportunity for Dylan De Silva. He goes down for a foul, but the referee, Tamping Woon, saying nothing doing, and Bashim Abdi, the Turkmenistani skipper, winning the ball back in no uncertain terms as well. The 28-year-old FK Arkadag defender with years of defense experience. And like I said earlier, a lot of this back line have played together and continue to play together at club level as well, so that cohesion and that understanding is there, and potentially something that Sri Lanka may lack. As Leon Pereira loses his man, here's an opportunity now for Turkmenistan. The ball comes in and absolutely brilliantly taken away by Wasim Razik, who tracks all the way back to stop Arzguli from running onto that ball with no one to mark him. Razik now playing on this right flank, playing as a right winger almost. Leon Pereira, here's an opportunity. Wade Decker now giving Raj Mohan what he likes, which is to run at defenders. Raj Mohan with an opportunity. Raj Mohan tries to wrap his foot around it, but off balance and not really doing it at his optimal. Still manages to get away a decent effort. It's a good challenge there by Mirza Begnazarov, who manages to put him off.
Rajmohan unlucky that time. Was looking for support and also a runner who would pinch that gap. Turkmenistan using all their experience, like you mentioned, they do have the upper hand when it comes to the defensive line and the cohesion. They're using it to their effect. Each of the players know each other very well. Beautifully done.
Zahir Adis now charging through the middle. Here's an opportunity for Sri Lanka. Zahir Adis, he loses the ball. He ran out of options. Wasim Razik not really making himself available on the far side there, but now Turkmenistan with the opportunity. They're trying to work something out. They haven't been able to penalize Sri Lanka for any of their mistakes yet. The game of chess continues with Abdi now slotting into that midfield. Arzguli switching play. soul. Game finally settling down and sustained periods of possessions for either side. It's Turkmenistan try to create an opportunity. Claudio not really taking the ball down very well, and here's an opportunity now. Teimur Zariev trying to get past the defender after Claudio basically hands the ball to him on a platter, but taking more chances. Sri Lanka get rid of the ball.
Nervy moments in defence for Sri Lanka. Claudio normally safe as houses at the back. That time not controlling the ball well. Shot inside the box, second attempt not on target, but ball still in play. Sujan comes out.
Here's an opportunity now. Wade Decker looking for support. Wade Decker has Rajendram on the right side, has Wasim Razik through the middle. Wade Decker finds Rajendram. Rajendram now with acres of space to get across in. Rajendram chips the ball up. Here's an opportunity. Wade Decker pushed to the ground, and he's going to be feeling that he was hard done by. Referee says nothing doing. Claudio Kamanek. Garrett Kelly slotting into that defensive role, stopping the ball again. Sri Lanka need to be testing the keeper from these kind of opportunities, particularly those on the break.
A very valuable opportunity is given away, because on the break, if you can catch the keeper on two minds. Here's Sri Lanka. De Silva. Looking to create something, Sri Lanka. Will be interesting to see how they make the shift closer to the end of this first half, to use the midfield a little bit more.
Jason Thayabaran really anchoring this attack, and Garrett Kelly pushing Rajendram forward and slotting into defense. Sujan Pereira, the keeper, receiving the ball as Sri Lanka try to spread out the play a little bit. Rajendram with space on his right side by Jason Dayabaran. He finds Dylan De Silva with a beautiful pass. Dylan De Silva manages to keep the ball in play very well. Dylan De Silva loves running at a man, and here's an opportunity. He puts the cross into the box. An opportunity for Sri Lanka. Wade Decker not able to get his head on that one, but beautiful play there. Jason Dayabaran taking a risk, looking for Dylan De Silva, who brought it down well. But
Brilliant.
A cross leading to a corner, Sudarshan.
Terrific delivery from De Silva. How did he find Decker, who just could not? Take a look at this. Couldn't get that jump in half a second earlier. Sri Lanka will take a lot of heart in with that effort. Will want to try and create something here from the corner in the box. The goalie happy to collect it.
Zahir is with a very unnecessary foul there, but he's arguing that he didn't put anything behind it, and that Shariev Rasool is really just making a meal out of that one. The referee tamping one, not taking any chances. Seems to be quite the push on the goalkeeper by the looks of it, and just going to have another look at it again. A bit unnecessary, to be honest, from Zahir Adis, but I would contend if there's enough in that little shove to warrant such a large amount of treatment, Sudarshana.
Well, an aspect of the game, isn't it? A lot of the critics want out from the game, player acting. It's always that time, though. I did think there was something more sinister from the Sri Lankan defender as well. He could have avoided that contact, but also Russell really making a meal out of it. But sanity prevails, where the referee adjudicated the incident for what it was. No yellow cards were dished out. The warning was stern, but 4 minutes of extra time being added. Added time. So we do have just over 4.5 minutes to play in this half.
Once again, Jason Dayabaran meeting the ball, and here's an opportunity. Zahir Adis with a challenge inside the box and manages to whip the ball away. Abdi wins the ball back, and here's an opportunity. Beats Rajendram, beats everyone. Turkmenistan now once again with a cross coming in, just a little bit too much excitement on that occasion by Arzuf Guli, as we look at the 4 minutes of added time being formally communicated by the fourth official. But Zahir Adis earlier in that play nicking the ball of Gurbanov. So far in the game, Turkmenistan have been unable to really carve out a clear-cut opportunity. And the Sri Lankan team will be happy about that. Coach Al-Muteri will be delighted that the defense has held their fort, while the attack has created some chances. I think you can argue that they've committed a few more resources to making sure the structure and the shape of the team remains strong and steady. And Zahir Adis,
like you mentioned, Deshaun, Sri Lanka will be the happier bunch, having created those chances through structured play. But what they'll be a little unhappy about is the fact that they haven't been able to try and get that finishing touches on ground. And also the first change of Dylan De Silva coming in has really created a threat on that left side corner, Deshan. So Wasim Razik in that last 10 to 15 minutes have gone unnoticed, and that could serve very well for Sri Lanka, because come second half, Wasim Razik is not going to be the main focus, and that's the kind of space Razik likes to shine about and remind the opposition teams that he is there and he is going to make you pay if ball comes his way.
of course, the 31-year-old Razik, who I love to mention, hails from the beautiful hill town of Gampala, his family. It's very dangerous on that break, and he's had a very proficient few months in Hong Kong's first division, as well as Jason Dayabaran gets rid of the ball in yet another attack. Wade Decker now trying to create something. A little bit of argy-bargy going on that near side. Wade Decker having some words to say, but like you did say, Dylan De Silva has added a new dimension of directness since he's come onto the pitch, as Sri Lanka has restructured that midfield essentially to become a 4-2-3-1 of sorts. And now Rajendram doing well to push out Shamamed Hedirov. Wasim Razik using his arm to bring that ball down, and the right call there by the referee. But as I was saying, Sudarshan, as we move into the final few seconds of the first half, Sri Lanka will walk into this half-time break the happier side.
There is time in this first half, scores level. And if it stays this way, it'll only be the second time these two teams go home without a result. Sri Lankan team will be the happier lot despite losing the debutant Jeremy Pereira off to injury. The inclusion of Dylan De Silva really making sure that they capitalize on opportunities that they got. Turkmenistan, on the other hand, haven't really posted that to Sujan Pereira. Wasim Rasik, the veteran, now on a more right side role. At half-time, scores untroubled by both teams. 0-0 with plenty to play for in this second half.
Welcome back to the Racecourse Stadium here in Colombo as we await the second half of action from the heart of Colombo's Racecourse Stadium. As we have a look now at the action from the first half. It was an interesting first half, both teams playing in what was a cagey first few minutes, and that was the highlight of the first half, where Wasim Razik hit the post, very nearly putting the hosts in front, one would say deservedly. And following that, Sri Lanka with wave after wave of attack, not really being able to challenge goalkeeper Rasul. Forced into a change as well with Dylan De Silva coming on for debutant Jeremy Pereira, who picked up an injury. Turkmenistan, in terms of clear-cut chances, did not have too many, so the Sri Lanka defense has been effective over the course of the first half. And now moving into the second, it's going to be interesting to see how both the coaches set the teams up for the second 45 minutes. As I mentioned earlier, prior to the start of the game, Sri Lanka is going to need, Sudarshana, a win in this game, whereas Turkmenistan, they're sitting pretty on 6 points and can afford a draw if that need be the case.
Yeah, 100%, because Turkmenistan haven't lost to Sri Lanka in their history, so they will not want any different. 6 games unbeaten, and they will want to 6 games unbeaten against Sri Lanka, and will want to make sure that they carry that forward and also continue their unbeaten run in this AFC third round. An absolutely brilliant jersey in.
I question what do you think brilliant is, Sudarshana, but that's a conversation for another time. But as we were discussing, it's all in for Sri Lanka, and in keeping with what coach Al Mutairi was saying prior to this game, Sri Lanka has gone all in on attack. Both teams have played a very interesting style of football where they've tried to get the ball back to front as soon as possible, really working on progressing that ball up the pitch faster. Sudarshan, I just wanted to point out an interesting jersey for you on that occasion. But as I was saying earlier, both the teams playing a similar style where they're trying to get the ball all the way to the front very quickly. Sri Lanka has managed to carve out a few opportunities by using that tactic, but Turkmenistan have been comfortable in defending most of those opportunities, primarily because the front line for the hosts physically has not matched up to that of the visitors.
Absolutely, because Turkmenistan really having that height advantage with them, and Sri Lanka opting to go with that long balls and the high balls, especially when it comes to the crosses and attacking that box. A Sri Lankan jersey proudly worn by a eager fan, and this man will be revving to go when his chance is given.
Oliver Kellard, he's got some legs on him, and he's got that turn of pace that can really stretch a defense. Coach Al Mutairi, of course, opting for a bit more conservative attack within a structure. They've played the pitch very narrow over the course of the game. As you can see, the home side coming on to the pitch, and now Turkmenistan also making their way back onto the pitch after their halftime interval. Rovshen Meredov, the coach, has given across his final instructions. Shariev Rasul has been the busier of the two goalkeepers over the course of this game so far.
But we'll be very thankful at the fact that the defensive line in front of him have made his life so much more easier. Deshaun, like you kept mentioning, the combination of Abdi and Yalas, also Anagule, who likes to get in front of the field as well and put pressure on the opposition, the Sri Lankan side, in their final huddle before the commencement of the second half. Will be looking to finish the chances that come their way.
And a change on the cards for Sri Lanka. Sam Durrant coming on for Wade Decker. So another change that's going to mix up the attack a little bit, and looks like Sri Lanka is going for that the usual ploy of having Sam Durrant and Dylan De Silva on the flanks. That means, well, what that has meant is that they're looking at putting the fullbacks under pressure, and they're looking at really pinning the fullbacks back and giving the wingers the space to run. And that's what they have been good at and what has worked for the home side in the past, and they're really going back into that. So Wade Decker's race is run, and Sam Durrant now coming in, and as we can see, he's going to be occupying the left wing position in that number 10 shirt. Leon Pereira now with an opportunity to hike the ball. Here's an opportunity, but nothing doing. Leon Pereira once again. Garrett Kelly, and now Sam Durrant. Sam Durrant loves cutting in on the inside, and he can curl one into the far post and really wrap his foot around his efforts. The ball being hiked over. Dylan De Silva with an opportunity. Dylan De Silva not able to get onto that one, and catching Ilas Stojanov in the process. I beg your pardon, Sudarshana. That's Anna Gulyev that he catches in the process. Anna Gulyev just a little bit sore after that one. But again, what we can see is that now looking to get these wingers behind the defensive line and really pin the defense back. Coach Al-Mutairi really doubling down on that promise to go all-out attack in this game. So Wasim Razik now playing that up front, the central attacking role, and an opportunity here. A speculative effort from distance, but nothing doing. So as I said, Wasim Razik now playing that lone striker role with Raj Mohan in behind. Dylan De Silva on the right and Sam Durrant on the left. So yet another little structural change in the attack for Sri Lanka. Garrett Kelly and Leon Pereira playing that holding midfield role, with Rajendram tucking in as well. And Garrett Kelly does well to win that back and catching the foul in the process. Gurbanov not very happy with that, and the referee taking no chances. Referee Wunda taking Yazgilic Gurbanov for a small chat. And just checking in on Garrett Kelly as well. He gets his shin caught.
Sri Lankan players in protest, saying that was studs up challenge.
Not much in that one really, and fair enough on Gurbanov's side. He just catches him a little bit, and barely as well, and Garrett Kelly doing well to win that foul. But anyway, Jason Dayabaran now with the ball. Again, pushes that ball forward. Here's an opportunity to recycle possession on that second phase. Claudio Kamenek does well to win, but referee saying he's manhandled Gurbanov on that occasion. And taken quickly, Rajendram taking no chances, and Arzguli losing possession. Once again, Rajendram, he's been solid on that right side so far, together with Dylan De Silva. Cross comes in, here's an opportunity, but once again, Jason Dayabaran, real rock in that defense. Abdi losing possession, but Leon Pereira not able to keep it in.
Pereira managing to intercept, but not managing to control that. Turkmenistan in the opposition half. Here's an opportunity for Sri Lanka.
Zahiadis with a beautiful pass. Sam Durant, his first touch. Sorry, Dylan De Silva rather. Dylan De Silva's first touch not very good, and taking the ball far too inside. He had plenty of space on the outside. And here once again with an opportunity now, Sam Durant. Zahiadis. Loses possession and concede a cheap foul. And then I think that's Teimur Shariev who got fouled on that occasion, but the game really turning into a game of chess of sorts here as the ball comes in. Here's an opportunity, and Samayet Hiderov not doing well enough to direct that ball at the goal. He should be doing a little bit better, but had two Sri Lankan defenders for company. And once again, as I was saying, we're turning into a little bit of a game of chess, Sudarshana, where it's very marginal opportunities that are now being presented to both teams. I'm sure the humidity has played a part as well. It's not ideal conditions for football, and it really zaps the energy out of you, the conditions you're playing in.
While the sun's going down, it's still very, very humid here at the Racecourse ground in Colombo. Turkmenistan so far have managed to make sure that they are in the correct territory to try and pose a threat to Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan teams in protest, saying that was a fall through, but referee says no, let's go through that again. What Turkmenistan have tried doing from the start of the game, Deshan, is to try and exploit that wider channels, stretch the Sri Lankan defense, because Sri Lanka have been happy with defending very close to each other in that middle part of the field.
Claudio Kamenek happy to take that foul there from Mikhail Titov. Zahiadis, Sam Durant, and Durant very nearly losing possession, and he does lose possession, but referee says that Mamadov Ibrahim has fouled him. And once again, Kamenek standing over this one. Jason Dayabaran. Back to Claudio Kamenek. And Garrett Kelly at the base of that midfield. Jason Dayabaran. Rajendram. Dylan De Silva. And he manages to get past his man well. Dylan De Silva with the cross. A little bit too much on it for Wasim Razik. Here's an opportunity. Leon Pereira misses it. Garrett Kelly charges forward. Loses possession. Zahi Adis. And the referee says that in charging forward, that was a foul on Ilas Stojanov. But Dylan De Silva showing us what he is absolutely wonderful at doing, which is to get past a man and put a cross in. Wasim Razik just not up to it on that occasion.
Host team needed more jerseys on the box. And ideally, Rajendra, who is slightly taller, who could have gotten to that cross, but brilliant delivery from De Silva.
Sam Durant on the double team there as well, and won the ball back brilliantly. And now Wasim Razik trying to 1-2 with Sam Durant, manages to get the ball to Leon Pereira. Leon Pereira with an effort rather speculative, manages to send the ball across to Dylan De Silva. Dylan De Silva hugging the touchline, manages to win a corner kick. And yet another wave of attack from Sri Lanka, started by some good defensive work by both Sam Durant and Rajmohan on this near side.
Rajamohan with the opportunity to try and create something from here. Corner. Good work by Razul. Manages to track the delivery. Won back by Sri Lanka.
Gurbanov's effort there, going for a corner kick. Zahi Adis has been very solid down this left flank. Aided well by the defensive duo Jason Dayabar and Claudio Kamenek. Sri Lanka has been in control in defense so far, and it's going to be interesting to see how they manage to hold fort over the next half an hour or so. As Gurbanov sends the cross in. Here's an opportunity. Comes off Garrett Kelly. An opportunity now for a shot. The shot comes in, and Jason Dayabaran keeping Sri Lanka in the game as Anna Gulyev very nearly puts Turkmenistan in front. And what a clearance on the line by the defender.
The Sri Lankan players absolutely appreciative of the effort from Dayabaran. Have an eye on Sujan. He let it go. But it was Dayabaran. He knew he had to be the man to clear that one. The ball getting away from Kelly, and Anagulya has been a real troublemaker. Despite wearing that number 2, he has been in that box threatening Sri Lanka. Another opportunity, but this time wavered. Shot by Azif Gulli. Sri Lanka will be breathing a big sigh of relief after that. The scores would have been different if not for Raj Mohan's effort. Sujan with the delivery, Kelly with the header. Abdi clearing it for the visitors. Turkmenistan now looking to try and put pressure on the Sri Lankan midfield.
Zahia Dis once again with a good block to stop a Turkmenistan attack. Although possession has now been turned over. Once again Anana Gulyev finding Rasul, his keeper, and really working it out the back. They're happy to take their time, the visitors. As we approach the hour mark, Sudarshana, it's been less the physical battle that we thought it would be and more the tactical battle that it will become, as Dylan De Silva down this flank. Dylan De Silva is going to find an option. Dylan De Silva finds Wasim Razik. Wasim Razik manages to hold the ball. Leon Pereira with the effort. Very nearly, but he sends it straight at the keeper, Leon Pereira. He should be finding the size of the goal, but Sri Lanka once again, Dylan De Silva really causing havoc down that flank. Garrett Kelly now with the opportunity to create something after turning over possession. And that's a second clear-cut chance for Sri Lanka after hitting the upright in the first half. And we'll have a look at that effort. Very quickly, Dylan De Silva squaring it beautifully. Wasim Razik, one or two touches. He sees Leon Pereira. Leon Pereira straight at the keeper, and he was very comfortable finally. So,
what an opportunity for the host team to have gotten the first score of this game, which could have really changed the complexion of the game. Now they will be looking to arrest that momentum, because Dylan De Silva is causing problems in that right flank, which can really bring Wasim to the front in that center attack position. Durant looking to put pressure. Yes, Rajendra. To Claudio.
and the first yellow card of the game going to Rajendram. On that occasion, in the number 2 shirt, Rajendram picking up a cheap foul that wasn't really necessary. That attack was going nowhere. Always tricky when a fullback gets a booking, because it gives an excuse for the visitors to put some pressure on him, as we're seeing 2 substitutions for Turkmenistan, and that's the game for Mikhail Titov, who's going to be replaced by Tagayev Elman, as well as Gurbanov, who's been a thorn in the Sri Lankan side and has had a good game. He's been all over the pitch, but he's going to be replaced by Velmalit Balakov. So Elman and Balakov now with the opportunity to come in and create some impact for the visitors. 2 forward-leaning changes, which suggests that Turkmenistan aren't here for the draw, but they want to try and create some opportunities and win the game potentially.
Sri Lanka, on the other hand, will be looking to continue what they've been doing, try and get control of the ball and create the chances. Rajmohan to De Silva. Good interception by Turkmenistan, who are bringing their physical game into the front. Rajmohan that time happy to let the ball roll over. Now the substitution being readied on the touchlines from Sri Lanka.
And Oliver Kellart is going to get a run out. He's going to get about 25 minutes to try and see what he can do.
Most likely, yes, the change coming in place of Wasim Razik, who will be walking out.
Absolutely, 31-year-old Razik not having his best game. He had a few chances, but it's been tough against that centre-back combination of Ana Gulyev and Toyjanov, who are substantially bigger than he is, so he's not getting a lot of joy from those crosses. Oliver Kellart coming in his place. The 27-year-old Hume City FC forward who plies his trade in Australia, replacing Wasim Razik, who plies his trade in Hong Kong's Eastern District. So another attacking change for Sri Lanka, and here's an opportunity now with some space to run into for Sam Durant. Sam Durant down this flank, he's got company. Sam Durant with an opportunity, he finds a pass. Here's an opportunity, what a shot! And Leon Pereira breaks the deadlock for the home side in what was an absolutely beautiful move for Sri Lanka. Sam Durant down this left flank, running into space, squares it, and what an assist!
Oh, what a play. Absolute terrific stuff. And Colombo, coach, take a look at this. The turn and the composure. Lovely touch by Rajmohan. And pouncing on that and finishing it. Leon. Oh, this is going to be on repeat on any Sri Lankan football lover's page. Coach Al-Mutari absolutely enjoying what he saw from his charges. Leon Pereira may have missed the earlier one, kicking it straight to the goalie. He absolutely redeems himself. 1-0 Sri Lanka in front.
Absolutely, Sudarshana, but that goal was all about that beautiful touch from Adavan Rajmohan. Absolutely tears open the defense right down the middle and setting it up on a platter for Leon Pereira, and that's exactly what it's about. That's exactly what Rajmohan is good at doing, and he does that beautifully. Leon Pereira might have run onto that ball, feasting his eyes, just the goalkeeper to beat. Sri Lanka now need to settle down and avoid conceding. And very nearly turning over immediately Velmirat Balakov with an opportunity. Not clear cut, but should have got it on target at the very least. And this is where game management comes into play. 22 minutes left. With the 3 points in hand, they say you're most vulnerable when you're 1 goal in front.
Teams are absolutely vulnerable soon after they score. We've seen that in different versions of the game, different sports really. Sri Lanka now will be looking to arrest the momentum, and what a goal that was, Deshan. Beautiful score with Raj Mohan really being the man creating that, and he has been the man, the reason why Sri Lanka is in front 1-0. We'll take a look at another replay of that, because we'll be feasting on that. Raj Mohan giving that little deft touch for Leon to score, and that emotion that Leon showcased, it was just brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. If our production team can help us out and just show us the deft touch by Raj Mohan once again, that really created that opportunity. Sri Lanka now with the advantage as they go into the last 20 minutes. Rajendram on a yellow card, he needs to be careful. Does beautifully on that flank. Oliver Kellart trying to work something out. Garrett Kelly wins it back in midfield, and the energy hasn't dropped from the home side, and that is what you like to see. Putting Turkmenistan on the back foot. Anagulyev taking no chances. Rasul, and now a bit of initiative from Abdi, who tries to create something and taking all the time in the world there once again. And we're going to have another look, and that beautiful touch from Raj Mohan really opening it up. You can see the joy on Coach Al Mutairi's face. He's been waiting an hour and a bit for that one. Attack, 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 he said at the press conference yesterday, and he's lived up to it.
Moments you live for as a coach, isn't it, Deshan? Now Turkmenistan being frustrated, and Sri Lanka doing exactly what they need to try and frustrate the opposition. You put your foot forward, you can create history here. The host team, 6 games, 0 wins to their name against this side. They'll want to try and change that here. Turkmenistan have been the favourites to try and make that direct qualification, like Deshan mentioned at the beginning of this game, having won both their games quite comfortably as well, with a 5-point goal difference to their name. Are not used to conceding. The only goal that they conceded was that 3-1 affair against Thailand, Deshan, where you could excuse the fact that they conceded one, especially given the fact that they managed to capitalize and they dominated the attack. Here they are under pressure. How can Sri Lanka capitalize on that and finish this game off?
Absolutely, and Samamet Hiderov there, he's been rather silent this second half, and Jason Dayapuran, the former Eintracht Trier defender, using all that defensive experience to frustrate his attacker and win the ball back for the home side. Once again, a bit of a risky opportunity, but nothing doing with Claudio Kamenek. He's not taking any chances. Leon Pereira, the goal scorer, he's got a new lease of energy after that, and rightfully so. But Sri Lanka are very fortunate to have the likes of Ardhavan Rajamohan, the 32-year-old midfielder from IFK Haninge in Sweden. Really showing that deftness that you need. And he has been a very effective player. He's been the go-to man when it comes to some of these games in terms of bailing Sri Lanka out. Even against the Maldives, the performance of the team really changed once he came onto the pitch. And Abdi Bashimov not very pleased with that turning over possession and conceding a throw-in. as it looks like Turkmenistan are going to try one more roll of the dice and make another substitution.
Yeah, coming back to what you mentioned about Rajamohan Deshan, he's the type of player that lifts your team up when he's in the pitches in it, because irrespective of it being attack or defense, he really inspires the rest of the players to try and play at the pace that the team sets their thoughts at.
Absolutely, and we're just taking a quick pause for a water break again, and it's very interesting how these things tend to play out. 5 minutes ago, the discussion going into this break would have been very different to what it is at the moment. And that is the beauty of this game, and Sri Lanka now. You can see Oliver Kellart advising Rajendram there as well. As we mentioned, Rajendram is on a yellow card. Turkmenistan look a bit frustrated and look a bit depleted in this Colombo heat as well. They've not really stepped up to the game and stepped up to the plate so far. And overall, over the course of the game, they have been outplayed by the local side.
The little differences of and advantages of being home, isn't it, Deshan? You saw the Sri Lankan team bringing out those cold towels. They know the conditions. As we take another look at that brilliant goal, it was Durant who came in moments earlier, who sent in that cross, but that touch from Raj Mohan, absolute gold. Take a look at that. No pressure, just like he would do it on a Saturday afternoon in the training pitch. And his coach is absolutely delighted. And so are everybody supporting the Sri Lankan side.
Garrett Kelly getting caught in the face there. The referee deeming that a foul as well. Few choice words there between Taimur Shariev and Garrett Kelly. Garrett Kelly has been ever present in Sri Lanka's national setup since he declared his eligibility and his availability to play for the island nation. The 29-year-old Welling United midfielder from England. He's an energizer bunny of sorts, really got energy, absolute bags of it, and will really play any position for the team as well.
And also never really backs down from a fight, doesn't it? De Silva losing position that time. Sri Lanka though showcasing that they're not going to give away the advantage that they worked very hard to get. And like you've been mentioning, Zahir, these have been absolutely impressive, hasn't he? He has that physical trait of being a very good defender as well, has the height and can really put pressure and be calm and composed when time calls it. Razul with the clearance. Rajamohan that time. Rajendran. That's going to be dealt with by the referee, who comes into his rescue but shows him a yellow. Well deserved yellow though. Absolutely unnecessary that time by Azugli.
And just a little too eager there. Arzuf Guli pushing Rajendram into the advertising boardings there. Barzov Guli naturally a little frustrated. You can see the frustration on his face. It's not a position that Turkmenistan have been used to being in over the course of this tournament. And like I said at the start of this game, Sudarshana, it's so important for a lot of these teams to take into account that the Sri Lanka team they played a couple of years ago, the mix, the character, the quality is completely different to what you're seeing at the moment.
Yes, but largely due to the exposure as well, isn't it, Deshan? Most of these players, they play in very, very competitive leagues, and never easy when you are not together as a squad to try and get that cohesion. But this group of players have really committed to the course, and that has been a feature of this setup, because flying all over transit, some of them catching 12-hour, 14-hour flights in order to try and get here. But they've shown the passion that they put on wearing that emblem on their chest. Turkmenistan would have expected to come and make it an easy one, having never lost against Sri Lanka, but now just over 10 minutes separating them and their first defeat at the hands of the Lions.
Throw in Barzov Guli. And Turkmenistan now trying to find their way back into this game. And conceding possession. Here's an opportunity, just a little bit too much on it by Oliver Kellard. Sri Lanka looking for that second goal to really seal the deal. They need to be converting those chances if they are to go about doing just that. Garrett Kelly now finding Oliver Kellard. Oliver Kellard trying to be cheeky. Rasul, the keeper, working it back. Toyjanov, who had a solid game so far, apart from that moment of brilliance from Raj Mohan. And free kick for Turkmenistan by the halfway line, as we slowly but surely have come into the last 10 minutes of this game.
The merits separate Turkmenistan. If they don't want to end their winning streak, they need to score twice here. So the ball is really on their court, and here's an opportunity. Slightly away from that upright. Sujan Pereira hasn't been troubled much, but that time finding him by surprise. Dylan De Silva's inclusion has been absolutely terrific, isn't it, for Sri Lanka, who he has created a lot of chances.
I think that was a good effort there on that occasion. Very close by Anadurdev. Coming on, he's shown some energy since he's come on to the pitch, and arguably Turkmenistan's closest effort so far, catching Sujan Pereira nearly off guard on that occasion, Sudarshan, as well as one more wave of attack here, and he's once again holding the ball, and he on this occasion tries to be a bit too eager, manages to win a corner though. Anadurdiev has been the most effective of the substitutes so far.
Yeah, from the time he's come on, he's tried to create opportunities, a more experienced campaigner in the setup of Turkmenistan.
Absolutely, the 31-year-old also playing for FK Arkadag. in the Yokari Liga. Is a leader in the dressing room as well. As the ball comes in, here's another occasion. But Abdi not quite meeting Oliver Kellart with the header. Garrett Kelly getting it away. Balakov sends the ball in. Here's an opportunity. It comes off the crossbar. And very nearly Turkmenistan managed to nick the equalizer. And Sri Lanka now with the opportunity to break. Sri Lanka 2-on-2. Can they get past the man? Yes, they can. And the ball set up on a platter. Not finished. Referee calls for a goal kick. Sri Lanka furious with that decision. But what an opportunity. End-to-end football. And once again, Rajamohan, the creator.
No, what a chance for Turkmenistan, and what a chance for Sri Lanka on either end of the field. The goal that Turkmenistan currently attacking has denied 2 goals in this game. In the first half it was the Sri Lankans who were denied, but this time it was ever so close because Sujan Pereira that time was beaten for all money. But yet again, Rajmohan really coming into the party and creating an opportunity for Sri Lanka. Turkmenistan now on attack. Here's Bekanzarov. Green jerseys, plenty of them around the box.
Substitution for Turkmenistan. Number 21, Temur Chayev.
2 more changes coming in for the visitors. Rahman coming in the number 19 alongside Dida in the number 11 shirt. It was their opportunity. Was there contact on that striker who could have otherwise really hurt Turkmenistan?
Arsif Ghuli has run his race and is replaced by Rahman for the rest of the game as well, Sudarshana. So I don't think that replay allows us to draw a conclusion. I think the referee potentially had a better look. It's always difficult to come to conclusions on what those decisions can be, but you can only imagine how difficult it is for the referee as well. But so far, what we've seen is that Sri Lanka have had the opportunities to score. They've not converted as much as they've liked, but at the same time, they've rode their luck a little bit over the course of this one.
Completely agree, Deshan. Still looking at the replays, we are still contemplating whether it was a contact or not. Oh, another opportunity, ever so close. Another corner though, a slight touch deviating it from the goal. Turkmenistan asking questions. Rajmohan's time being called. Take a look at that. Slight touch from Sujan, deviating that brilliant connection by Balakov.
Absolutely, and Sri Lanka now making a change. Niloshan Sendurvasan, the 23-year-old midfielder, applying his straight at Drobak in Norway, coming on for Ardhavan Rajmohan, who has had a fantastic game and comes off to a standing ovation from the crowd here in Colombo. And that suggests that Coach Al Mutairi is looking to kind of keep the midfield ticking and really control the game as we walk in to the last 3 minutes of regulation time and added time thereafter, as Tagayev Elman, the substitute, stands over this one. And here's an opportunity to put the ball into the box. He sends in a beautiful cross. Kamenek taking no chances. And now second ball coming in. Here is an opportunity for a cross. Turkmenistan trying to work the right angle. Here is an opportunity and he sends it in. And once again, Jason Dayabaran, the second time so far this game, he's managed to get the ball away from the goal on the line. He's been immense at the back of this defense.
Well, the entire squad, come on. You owe this man dinner and some. Second time Dayabaran. There is absolutely no one but that number 23 jersey and that man. Terrific stuff. Take a look at this. How about Talman? What an effort. What an effort and a curl. But Dayabaran first there to make sure Sri Lanka still leads this game 1-0. So Turkmenistan, after they made those changes, Deshan looking like a different animal. They're creating those opportunities around the Sri Lankan box that has really made Sujan Pereira work extra hard than he did in the start of the 70 minutes.
Absolutely, particularly in those front spaces, as we see Leon Pereira walking off the pitch with a bout of cramp and potentially calling an end to his game. But no, I think he might have to carry on as we mark 5 minutes of added time. But as you said, Sudarshana, the entry of Altmirat Anardudiev, and the ball comes in once again. Jason Dayabar on the end of that one as well, as it goes for a throw in. But Altmirat Anardudiev, Tagayev Elman, as well as that man in the 23 shirt, Velmirat Balakov, they've been absolutely immense, creating chance after chance for Turkmenistan since their entry into the game. Turkmenistan once again trying to find that one goal that sets them on par. And once again, Zahi Adis, he's been absolutely immense in his first start for his country. He's had a solid game so far. And he's happy to take his time as we wind down the first minute of added time. But as I was saying, Sudarshana, these changes that they've seen really has upped the ante for the attack. And I think starting off with 5 defenders, there was a bit of conservatism on the part of Coach Meredov in terms of committing too many men to attack against this new look Sri Lanka side, at least in the context of what Turkmenistan has faced so far. But now that he's 1 goal behind, he's, throwing the kitchen sink at it, really.
Here's another opportunity for Sri Lanka.
And what an opportunity now for Sri Lanka. Squares the ball just a bit too far from Sam Durant. Rajendram takes a speculative effort. It comes back to Durant. Durant looking for Dylan De Silva. There's not much action in the middle of the park. De Silva nearly gets past his man and manages to win the foul there. Referee Woon immediately calling for a free kick. So a good free kick in a dangerous area for the local lads. But more importantly, an opportunity to kill about 30 seconds.
Yeah, the bench and the Sri Lankan players asking for the crowd to get behind them. It's just 3 minutes that separates history here at Racecourse. Sri Lanka punching above their weight and really putting in a big effort to try and drown the table leaders in this group of Asian Cup Saudi Arabia 2027 qualifiers. De Silva to Sandil Kumar. De Silva
trying to turn, but nothing doing as Turkmenistan try to unleash an attack. Rajendram loses possession, but not amounting to anything, as you can see. Skipper Basimov Abdi really feeling the brunt of that. He's been solid over the course of this game, and he's done his part, really. But a moment of brilliance unlocking the Turkmenistan defense. Absolutely nothing doing there. dispossessed absolutely legally. And here's an opportunity now, 3-on-3. Jason Dayabaran manages to nick it. Zahi Adis, what a block by Harry Zahi Adis. He's been immense on that left side. It's a corner for Turkmenistan as we roll into the last 1.5 minutes of this game. And here's now an opportunity for Ilman to swing in across Sudarshana. And skipper Pasimov Abdi not really getting the contact he wanted. You can see the fatigue on his face. He's been a rock at the back for his team over the course of the last 94 minutes, but it does take its toll, not getting up above the ball enough.
Seconds now, separating a historic win. That'll be remembered for a long, long time, and that will give hope to this Sri Lankan outfit and the football fans of this beautiful island. Now on the correct part of the field, clock going down, could be the final opportunity for Turkmenistan. The bench of Sri Lanka getting a yellow card. Final few seconds going down. Here Turkmenistan with possession. And that is full time. Team number 196 of football rankings beat team ranked 138. Really punching above their weight. Sri Lanka get a victory that they've worked really hard at. They created opportunities, they created chances, and it's that age to celebrate. And that lad, oh, he has been absolutely immense in that number 23 shirt. Jason Dayabaran has been the difference. Was that extra goalkeeper for Sri Lanka twice, and he makes sure it's the home team that celebrate.
You don't see days like this all the time, but when they come, oh God, are they not great, Sudarshana. Sri Lanka, a much needed win, keeping that hope of AFC Asia Cup qualification alive, giving some meaning to that fixture that's happening in Turkmenistan in a couple of days as well, and really showing that the lads representing Sri Lanka can really punch above their weight. As you can finally see the official confirmation of the full-time results. Sri Lanka 1, Turkmenistan 0. Overall, Sri Lanka has been the better side over the course of the 90 minutes. They did ride their luck on a few occasions, but that's just how the game works. And Coach Al-Mutairi playing that narrow field, tucking in those wingers, going for those long balls, and really making the midfield irrelevant as much as he can. Has seen his tactics work absolutely effectively. Some would argue, did Coach Meredov take too many cautionary actions prior to the game? Their team really only kicked in the last 15 to 20 minutes and really took on Sri Lanka only in the last 15 to 20 minutes, but that proved too late. I'd love to say Sujan Pereira was the one up to it, but no, Jason Dayabaran proving to be the real man at the back and the real thorn in the side of Turkmenistan, as Sri Lanka take home 3 valuable points.
Jubilant, absolutely jubilant Sri Lankan team, thanking their supporters. And that man, Jeremy Pereira, not the ideal start to his national career, having to go off halfway through. but will be delighted at the fact that he managed to get his debut during a much needed win and also a historic win here at Racecourse. Some brilliant football from both the teams, and these two men have been the architects of this victory. Jason Dayabaran and Adavan Rajamohan. There's an absolutely brilliant performance from both of them. We are lucky that we don't have to pick a player of the match, because we would have been under a lot of pressure, because both of them have been absolutely fabulous. But Dayabaran, what a lad. Not once but twice being the difference between Sri Lanka getting a big W and very important 3 points, keeping their chances alive, enjoying the victory with the lion flag in hand. Leon Pereira, the sole scorer of the game, missed out on an easy opportunity where he kicked it right to the hands of the goalkeeper, but come second chance he wasn't going to miss that out. Exuberant supporters who made their way here, they were treated to a very, very exciting game of football. Both teams looking to attack each other, looking to attack each other's goals. And like Deshan time and time again mentioned, both teams trying to avoid that midfield battle, which made it even so exciting, because most of the action was on around the box. Well, we'll crush over as we have the player of the match ready to have a chat with us.
Jason, first of all, congratulations on the win. 2 goal line clearances. What are your thoughts on today's game?
Crazy game. Of course, I'm proud that I can help the team with the 2 clearances, but I have to say the credit go to everyone here. To every player, doesn't matter if he play 1 minute, 90 minutes, or he only sit on the bench. To all the staff, all the team behind the team, we work so hard and we stick together. We are like one family. I think you all can see it today in the game. In the first half we can score. Wasim hit the post. It was unlucky, but our hope was there that we can minimum draw this game. So our plan was to have a clean sheet at the end. Yes, I'm very happy to win. Now I think we are leading now at this moment the group. I think when anybody say this before or after the draw, no one believed this, but now we show it all.
And the 2 games against Maldives, you all lost the first one 3-0 and drew the second one 1-1. What was the turnaround?
In the end, I have to say I'm really happy that we lose the game against Maldives and the second game draw, because it was a big lesson for everyone from us. Because now, after this 2 games against Maldives, we came back to the ground and we focus again, and I think we see a big difference today in the game. Yeah.
Thank you, and all the best for the next games.
Jason Dayabaran, the player of the match, giving us some insights on what the thought process was coming off from those 2 games against Maldives, which would have really helped this team to click.
And here's just having a look at the highlights from the second half, as the game started slowly but opened up as time went on. As first save from Jason Dayabaran, getting his head on that one on the line. And Leon Pereira's first effort, simple one, but hits it straight at the keeper. that could have made the difference, but following that yellow card, Sam Durant with this run squares it for Raj Mohan, whose deft touch slits open the defense, and that was the difference. Leon Pereira making no mistake in the second time of asking. Turkmenistan got a bit frustrated as the game went on, but had their chances as well. Just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. That defensive, that attacking trio rather, that came onto the pitch, really changing the game. They hit the crossbar. Raj Mohan, creator in chief for Sri Lanka today, as is the case usually, and Sujan Pereira getting his arm to one effort, but that's really the absolute brilliance of Jason Dayapal. His positioning today, he looks like an absolutely different player with Claudio Kamanek next to him. And that's it, the final whistle. Al-Mutairi, he's gonna be going home a happy man.
A word on Dylan De Silva as well. Despite coming in as a first substitution due to the injury, he really putting his best efforts forward for Sri Lanka. 10 shots from Turkmenistan, only 3 on target. Sri Lanka creating more chances and opportunities, although they have taken lesser shots than their opposition. Most of them were real top opportunities. 2 shots on target, 1 turning out to be a goal for Sri Lanka. And what I think Sri Lanka did very well is to not give away fouls in their own territory and not give opportunities to the opposition. Deshan, that's where they managed to make sure that they take the advantage and hold on to possession and frustrate this Turkmenistan team, who weren't used to being under pressure. Upcoming fixtures for Sri Lanka, they will fly to Turkmenistan on 14th of October to take them on in the return leg before hosting Thailand in Sri Lanka on the 18th of November, with the final game being played in this competition against Chinese Taipei. But with that, we come to the end of the broadcast of Asia Cup Saudi Arabia 2027 qualifiers from Racecourse grounds. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you these pictures. Do join us next time as we bring you round number 4.